In our last session, we explored the life of St. Paul, who began as Saul and converted to Christianity when he met the vision of Jesus on the road to Damascus. And in today's session, we're going to be looking at answering the question, why do Christians have sacraments? So we're going to know that sacraments are a sort of meeting with Jesus. And we're going to learn that in sacraments, we receive Jesus' great love. To be close friends of Jesus means that we must try every day to be kind and helpful to those we meet. So we need to remember those two rules that Jesus told us, which we learned about in the first session. That the Lord our God is the one Lord, and you must love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your mind and with all your strength. And then the second one, that you must love your neighbour as yourself. And these were two teachings we learned through the stories of the Good Samaritan, where we love our neighbours, regardless of who they are, and the story of St. Paul, when he realised who God actually was and changed his ways to start worshipping him. However, it's not always easy. Sometimes it's very difficult, so we actually need help. In this session, we're going to be thinking about how, in each of the different sacraments that we've taken part in, we meet Jesus in a special way and also receive his help through our daily lives. In the sacrament of baptism, we enter into the life of Jesus and become members of the church. When we're baptized, we become Christians and we receive Jesus' help for our journey through life. In the sacrament of reconciliation, we have the chance to say sorry to Jesus for the wrong choices we've made and the ability to start again. In the sacrament of reconciliation, that is, when we go to confession, Jesus forgives us for anything we have done wrong. No matter how often we fail, he offers us the grace to change our lives and start again. We can receive the sacrament of reconciliation every time we have done something wrong and every time we want Jesus' help. In the sacrament of the Eucharist, Jesus comes to us in Holy Communion. At Mass, when we receive Holy Communion, we are able to talk about anything naturally. We really want to say very. When Susan looked back at the sacraments that she received, she said this: "My happiest memory this year was the day I made my first Holy Communion. I received Jesus for the very first time. This made me very happy, and I know Jesus will always be my friend. All my family came with me to the church because they knew it was a very special day for me." Stephen explained, "On the day I went to confession for the first time, I was really nervous, but I was excited as well. I was scared that I wouldn't remember what to say, but the priest helped me, and afterwards I felt so happy. Now, whenever I go to confession, I feel happy again." Barney tells us, "When I received Holy Communion for the very first time, I felt loved. I thought it was like Jesus was giving me a present when he gave me himself in the form of bread and wine." For these children, their happiest days in every sacrament we receive, Jesus offers us the gift of his life and love. This is the grace we need to help us on our way through life, the journey we take with him. Every time we receive a sacrament, we are reminded that Jesus is with us. He will never leave us. Now, thinking about what these children have said about receiving their sacraments, why do you think that Susan, Stephen and Barney were so happy when we received these sacraments? Pause the video, share your ideas with someone, and come and join me when you're ready to continue. So now we've learned about the meaning behind these sacraments and about how a sacrament is the idea of meeting with Jesus and receiving Jesus' great love. We're now going to be showcasing what we know. So at the end of every school year, your teacher writes a report to tell you and your parents how you've got on over the year. So he tells you things like what grades you might have, or he talks about the attitude and effort you've done. So what we're going to do today is we're going to write a report for yourself that you're going to share with Jesus. And it doesn't just need to be about school. Think about things that have happened in your life. So maybe you have been able to do your first Holy Communion. Maybe you've done your act of reconciliation. Maybe you've been to a baptism for someone. So think about not just the things that happen in school or things that happen at home, but also the things that happen at church. And I want you to write a report about the most important events in your life in the last year and the reason why they're so important. Now, you could do this using words, or you could do this as a poster where you're creating some lovely images. I want you to be really creative in showcasing these important events so that when an audience looks at them, they can really appreciate that these are really, really important things that have happened in your life. So now you're ready to begin your independent work and to explain to people why Christians have sacraments. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your work.